Since you were 5 years old, the script has been the same. Go to school, get a job, save money, buy a house. We are told that the moment you get those keys, you have made it. You are safe. You are secure. But if that's true, why does everyone I know who owns a home look so tired? Why are people who won the game stressed out, working jobs they hate just to pay the mortgage, and terrified of a single unexpected bill? Here is the truth that banks and brokers don't want you to hear. In 2026, buying a home isn't always a safety net. Sometimes it's a trap. This isn't about scaring you. This is about waking you up. We are going to look at three massive markets: Dubai, the USA, and India. Each one is telling a different story, and each one has a different way of taking your money. By the end of this video, you will understand the difference between an asset that feeds you and an asset that eats you. Welcome to Zalwora. Let's look at the math, not the marketing. People get confused by Dubai. They see the Lamborghinis and the skyscrapers and think it's just a playground for billionaires. But if you strip away the glitz, Dubai is actually selling something very boring but very beautiful. Simple math. Here is the simplest way to explain why the world is moving its money here in 2026. Imagine you buy an apartment in London or New York. You rent it out for $2,000. Great, right? Because the government takes a cut. The council takes a cut. The taxes take a cut. By the time the money hits your wallet, that $2,000 has turned into $1,100. Now look at Dubai. You rent it for $2,000 because there is zero income tax on that rent and zero property tax. Nearly all of that $2,000 hits your wallet. That is the difference between gross yield, the fake number, and net yield, the money you can actually eat. Dubai is a net yield champion. Also, stop thinking of Dubai as a hotel. That was the old Dubai. The new Dubai is a home. Because of the golden visa, people aren't just visiting for a year. They are moving their families and their businesses here for 10 years. That means they aren't crashing on a sofa. They are signing long rental contracts. That makes your investment stable. But, and this is a huge but, you have to be careful. Dubai builds fast, like really fast. If you buy a boring, generic apartment in the middle of the desert where they are building 50 other towers that look exactly the same, you will lose. Why? Because supply and demand is undefeated. If there are 10,000 cookies and only 5,000 hungry people, the price of cookies drops. Dubai rewards you if you buy something special. A view, a waterfront, a prime location. It punishes you if you buy average. So, buy Dubai for cash flow. Don't buy it hoping to get rich overnight by flipping a piece of paper. Now, let's fly to America. The American property market is currently broken. It's frozen. And it's all because of one thing: the price of money. Let me explain this simply. In America, people don't buy houses based on the price tag. They buy based on the monthly payment. A few years ago, interest rates were basically zero. Everyone borrowed money and bought houses. They logged in a monthly payment of, say, $1,500. Today, if they wanted to buy that exact same house, the bank would charge them $3,500 a month because rates are higher. This has created golden handcuffs. Even if you hate your house, even if you got a new job in a different state, you cannot sell. Because if you sell, you lose your cheap loan and have to get an expensive one. So nobody is selling. And because nobody is selling, there are no houses to buy. The market is stuck in mud. But here is the scary part that nobody talks about until it's too late. Insurance. In 2026, insurance companies are looking at climate data, fires in California, storms in Florida, and they are freaking out. I know people whose mortgage is manageable, but their insurance bill suddenly doubled overnight. It's like a surprise subscription fee that you can't cancel. Americans are also moving. They are leaving expensive cities like New York and moving to cheaper places like Texas or Tennessee. But be careful following the crowd. When everyone rushes to the same cheap city, it stops being cheap very quickly. If you are buying in the US right now, you need to play the long game. This is not a flip it in 2 years market. This is a hold it for 20 years and pray the insurance doesn't kill me market. And finally, we come to India. If Dubai is about math and America is about interest rates, India is about emotion. In India, real estate isn't a financial decision, it's a social badge. If you don't own a home, your uncle asks what's wrong with you. If you don't own a home, people think you aren't settled. And developers, they use this against you. You walk into a sales office and they tell you, "Sir, hurry, only 2 units left. The price goes up tomorrow." Let me tell you a secret. It's a lie. They are manufacturing urgency to make you stop thinking. They want you to sign before you do the math. The biggest danger in India is buying under construction. You are essentially paying for air. You are paying EMI to the bank every month for a house that doesn't exist yet. Meanwhile, you are also paying rent where you currently live. You are bleeding money from two sides. And in India, delays are common. A 3-year project often becomes a 6-year wait. That double payment destroys middle-class families. Here is the cold, hard math. In cities like Mumbai, a flat costs so much that the rent you get from it is tiny, maybe 2 or 3% of the property value. But the loan interest you pay to the bank is 8 or 9%. Do you see the gap? You are losing money every single month, hoping that one day the property price will shoot up enough to cover your losses. That is not investing, that is gambling. Does India ever make sense? Yes. It makes sense if you buy a ready-to-move home. What you see is what you get, no risk of delays. And it makes sense if you plan to live there for 15 years. But buying just to impress your relatives? That is the most expensive mistake you will ever make. So, what is the answer? Is property a trap? Not always. But blindly following the herd is a trap. The world has changed. Real wealth in 2026 isn't about having a big house with a massive loan that keeps you awake at night. Real wealth is flexibility. It's having cash in the bank. It's being able to move if you lose your job. It's being able to sleep without worrying about an interest rate hike. Sometimes the smartest financial move you can make is to rent a beautiful home, let the landlord worry about the repairs, and invest your cash in businesses or assets that actually grow. Don't buy a home because you feel you have to. Buy it only when the math puts money in your pocket, not out of it. We didn't just guess these numbers. We analyzed the data. For detailed report, visit our page zalwora.ae. The link is below. If this video saved you from making a bad decision, hit the like button. Share this with that friend who is obsessing over buying a flat. And tell me in the comments, would you rather have a paid off house and no cash, or millions in cash and rent forever? Let's argue in the comments. Stay smart, stay free. See you next time.